Good afternoon, class. This is my audience. Let's look at some of the problems around the world. There are countries with people that have no money and no healthcare system. Things we in America take for granted. There are even places that aren't safe to deliver a baby in the world, where the infant mortality rate is well above the national average. I have decided to give this talk to you today because I am amazed how much misunderstanding there is about the current system of healthcare. My name is Denniston, and I'm going to talk to you about what the Affordable Health Care Act is, what the opposing issues are, and why we should work together to make affordable health care work, what has been done, and the main problems with the bill that need to be fixed. I'm going to argue as best as I can that we'll all be a lot better off whether we support or oppose the new healthcare law, whether we like it or not. We'd all be better off working together, making it work as well as possible so we can identify the problems and fix them instead of replaying the same old battles. That's my belief, and I hope I can persuade you that it is correct. In 2010, nearly 100 years after President Theodore Roosevelt first proposed affordable health care for all Americans, that Congress adopted and President Barack Obama signed the Affordable Care Act. The bill was designed to address two biggest problems of American healthcare system: its extraordinary cost and its lack of coverage, and to do so in a way that improves and not weakens the quality of our healthcare. So let's talk about the cost. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, before the bill passed, just 84% of the Americans had health insurance. According to an article in www.wsj.com, Wall Street Journal, dated July 23, 2013, we were spending almost 18% of our GDP, our gross domestic product, 17.9% of our national income on healthcare. That's about $2.5 trillion. Other countries that are income like Germany, France, Netherlands, and Japan cover everybody and do it for far less cost, between 9 and 12% of their GDP. That difference between 17.9% and 12% is $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion that could go to increasing pay wages, or hiring new employees, or to make investments that would make our economy grow faster. $1 trillion, that's a lot of money. Now, the healthcare costs keep wages down, business profits down, economic growth down, and accounted for 60% of personal bankruptcy filings before the economic crash in 2007-2008. So why is the cost so high? The cost is high for several reasons. Almost everybody pays healthcare providers for each individual procedure, medical device, or service, and not for the overall quality of the healthcare. We also pay more for drugs than people in other countries, about $70 billion more. The Affordable Health Care Act is designed to address all these issues by making healthcare coverage available and more affordable to all Americans. Now, the law has generated a lot of opposition, as we all know. Some say it's leaving the insurance companies with too large a role in healthcare, and others say it's increasing the role of government in healthcare delivery. People who are already insured are told they are about to lose what they have and like, and small businesses have been told that they will be charged for not being able to cover their employees. Poor people without coverage have been told they won't be able to afford when it comes. In Congress, there have been 40 votes to repeal the act, but no real alternatives to be presented and fix the current system. Now, there's been much opposition in many states, which matters because states are given a very big role in implementing this. So what are the state's role? Well, they're eligible for a substantial increase in the Medicaid funding to provide coverage to workers with lower incomes and for funds to create and run healthcare marketplaces designed to allow uninsured citizens and small businesses to shop for policies that are adequate and more affordable. Several states have declined to participate in this, in either the Medicaid expansion or the marketplaces or both. This leaves money on the table for other states and the health insurance marketplace to the federal government to set up and run. Now, as I said, I think we should all work together to implement this law, whether we support it or not, for several reasons. Why we should support the Affordable Health Care Act. Number one, it's better than the current system, which is unaffordable and downright unhealthy for millions of Americans. It gives states a chance to devise programs that work best for them and their populations. Not cooperating means the state's taxpayers, you, will pay for it, but the money will go to somebody else, somewhere else. This new law gives us the best chance at achieving universal coverage, providing higher quality of health care, and lowering the rate of cost. And finally, it is the law. Now we talked about the oppositions, now let's go over what's happened so far. Several provisions of the law have already taken effect. More than 3 million young adults under 26 now have health care coverage on their parents' plans. 6.6 million seniors pay less for prescription drugs. 105 million Americans have seen lifetime limits on their insurance coverage abolished, and preventative care is less costly for them. 17 million children with pre-existing conditions can no longer be denied coverage or charge higher rates. 12 million people have received rates from insurance companies because companies must now spend 80 to 85% of their premiums and not keep it for profits or promotions. Now in January, insurance companies will no longer be able to charge higher rates or deny coverage based on pre-existing conditions. This affects a lot more people than you think. It is estimated that 129 million Americans under age 65 are at risk because of the pre-existing conditions and therefore pay higher insurance rates. Women can no longer be charged higher rates than men, which was a common practice before. And 8.7 million of women who have maternity services for the first time now. Alright, so now what's wrong with the bill? Like any law this complex, there are some problems. Workers with modest incomes, $20,000 to $30,000 a year, work for a company that insures only them and not their family members, are still required by the law to provide for their families. And if their families aren't insured, then they have to pay a penalty for that. The problem is that under the law, because they have insurance under their work, they can't send their families into the healthcare exchange system and get the tax credits. Now this is bad policy and it needs to be fixed. The next problem needs to be fixed at the state level. The Supreme Court ruling that affordable health care upheld the law but said the states have the right to refuse to participate in taking their own Medicaid expansion money and refuse to set up their own healthcare exchange. The law also states that the federal government would run an exchange if the states didn't. If the states don't participate in the healthcare law, individuals with income levels 138% to 400% of the poverty line of roughly $16,000 of income or more will have access to healthcare insurance, but those under 138% get nothing. This is because the states that aren't getting into the system, that aren't participating, your taxpayers of that state, they're not getting anything out of it. If you're making over a certain amount of money, if you're too rich, then you get the health care. If you're too poor, then you don't. And that's not right. Now, because of the Supreme Court decision, this is a problem only the states can fix. Now, the next issue. Many are worried that not enough uninsured healthy young people will sign up. Well, why does this matter? Because if you let the relatively small amount of people with severe pre-existing conditions buy insurance at the same price as everybody else, then that's gonna run everybody else's insurance premiums up, unless you get a whole bunch of healthy people to come in and buy insurance as well, and that'll level out the risk pool for the insurance companies, keeping premiums down. So far we've talked about what the Affordable Health Care Act is, what the opposing issues are, and why we should work together to make this affordable health care work, what has been done, and the main problems of the bill that need to be fixed. In conclusion, this law has already done a lot of good. It's about to make 95% of us insured with access to affordable health care. It has built-in incentives to lower costs and improve quality, including lots of opportunities for states to innovate. The studies show that we as a country are ranked number 1 in our contribution to healthcare, but only ranked 25 to 33rd in the outcome that we get out of it. This is a country that pioneered innovation in every other area of our lives. You cannot make me believe that we have to tolerate this from now to the end of eternity. I think we will become more competitive and healthier country if we do this right, which is why we must work together and make this law work as well as possible.